What's going on, fly crew over there, flyboard enthusiasts? So I'm kind of stoked because finally the weather is getting better here now in Massachusetts. I tried to listen to your request. I finally got myself a microphone for the Insta360. So hopefully the sound quality, I don't know yet. I tested indoors. I don't know how the wind right now, how it's going to sound, but I hope it's going to be better than usual. Now, the problem is that this, they don't make a waterproof microphone for Insta360. So when I'm on dry land, I'm gonna try to do this. But when I'm in the water, of course, I can't use the microphone because otherwise it's gonna damage the camera. Anyhow, trying to listen to your requests. Now, I'm kind of stoked because I'm finally getting water to start making my reviews. And last year I got in touch with a dude from Hawaii. His name is Jeff, and he's from Efoil Solutions in Hawaii. Now, he sent me a bunch of stuff, but last year I didn't have the time because it was getting too cold, and I was in Florida. I had to drive back to Boston and not doing the review. But this time around, I'll be doing the reviews of several things that he sent me. Now, let me leave something very clear. With Fliteboard, it's great. You have everything as you have. Everything is great. You don't need anything. But as you progress, I become faster, and depending on your style of writing, actually this thing is going to help you out. And you can actually customize the way you want to ride by using the shims, negative shims. Now, I'm not going to get in details about negative shims. If you want to know what that negative shim does, please go on the link below on my first video making a manual, very like primitive shim that I did for my flyboard, and it worked out fine. So if you want to get any details about shims, go to the website, the link I'm going to send it below. You can hear with more details. But to make a long story short, what the shim does will adjust the position of your feet on the top of the board. You want always to keep your back foot as close as possible as the mast. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a run on this board. I'm using the Ultra with the Flyer 800 and the 295 stab. That's my favorite setup because I like to go fast. So I'm gonna do a run on that first, so to compare. But before that, let me show you what Efoil Solutions sent to me. So this is the goodies that they offer on the website. I'm gonna leave a link below at the end of the video too. You can read more about details. Gonna get more in depth about the other things. So he does a plus 20 stab fuselage, a minus 20 stab fuselage. You're gonna get in details later what they do. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negative shims that you're gonna put in your front wing, and everything comes nice and cool because I have denomination exactly what which shim does. Then you have the rare shims, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, also negative shims. And then you have this pretty cool battery protection. It's a battery adapter that is going to save your battery from ripping off the gasket. I'm going to show that pretty soon. But some of the things they offer right now. However, if you go on their website, they also have an amazing thing, which is an adapter that you can put on the front wing, so you can actually put a diversity, different numbers of wings by axis, which is going to expand your variation or requirements or way to ride, might be much more diverse. Fliteboard offers amazing numbers of wings, but now with the adapter you can get at least 10 more wings, and I think it's the Black Series by axis that you can use that. So without further ado, let me show the first thing is that we have here, which is the battery seal protector. So one common thing that happens with Fliteboard is that you're gonna take a battery, you're gonna slam your battery, it's gonna hit over here. Usually it's gonna hit the gasket, the seal, and sometimes you damage over here. With that thing right here, with this basically, with this, it's just, you gotta just take 2 screws out and put this right there, so the battery's gonna hit right there, and it's never gonna allow you to damage the seal. So this is a pretty cool gadget, and also keeps the batteries nice and tight on the compartment. So it's a very cheap solution to avoid damaging the gasket. If you have to replace this, guys, it's not fun at all. All right, so let me get in the water now, get the battery going. I'm gonna talk to you soon. Now, as I mentioned before, I'm going to do a test run on Fliteboard on the zero shim. And just let you know, again, the setup that I'm using is the 800 flyer with the 290 stab zero shim. And I'm gonna try to make a video to show you where my foot placement is. And I'm gonna be riding at the gear number 10, just to give a baseline to show where my foot positioning is. And I'm not gonna test every single shim's configuration at all because it take me too long. But I have something in mind for the style of riding that I like to do that I'm very curious to see how it works on my board. And I'm gonna tell you later. So I'm gonna give a base run right now. Pay attention to where my back foot is, where my back foot rests, and I'll be riding at gear number 10. So I'm going at gear 10. Pay attention to where my right foot is right now. And once again, this is the Fly 800 wing with a 290 stab on the Ultra board. So you saw the first test run on a zero shim, and I could go on and try all the different shims and the different setups. It would take me forever for me to go through all of them. But let me let something clear. You don't have to be an advanced rider to benefit from a shim. Let's say for a beginner rider and a light rider, okay? What happens is as you go fast, the board wants to go up and wants to come off the water. So with a negative shim, you don't have to be stepping in the front of the nose as much as you think you should. So if you're a light rider, even as a beginner, if you're a light rider, and if you're going very fast, you're gonna see that you're gonna have to go all the way to the front of the board, which makes the board very unstable. The whole goal is for your back foot to stay almost on the top of the mast. So even as a beginner, you'll be good for you to have a negative shim. With that said, the reason why I like to do different variations of the shims is because I want to customize my ride. Now, I could go through so many setups, but I have one thing in mind. For the fact that my style of riding is going fast and carving, and I don't want to be right on the top of the board, I want to be more on the back and have more control. That's why I'm gonna use the front shim. And I'm going hardcore on the front shim over here, -3. I should start out with -1, -1, -2, and so forth. But I want to go to -3 already because I think it's gonna bring me to where I want to be. On the top of that, so I'll probably be able to go faster and stay more on the back of the board. On the top of that, I'm gonna combine with the short tail fuselage. What I hope that's gonna do is make me more maneuverable. So the combination of both, using the -3 plus the short tail, it probably is gonna make me more maneuverable and more in control of the board. Now, with the longer tail on the other hand, I would say if you like to go for long cruises, to glide more, I think that the other tail that's longer than this would be more beneficiary for that type of riding. But what I like to do is carve to go fast and have control of the board. So that's why I think this combination of here is going to be pretty cool. And that's going to put on right now. So this is the stab. You can see that it's a little bit shorter. I think it's 20 millimeters shorter than the original one. Now, it's very good material. It's actually made out of a carbon fiber filament. Pretty resistant. However, he can also, Efoil Solutions can custom made an aluminum built for you as well, okay? And also comes with the, it says right there, -20, and also comes with the rubber seal right there as well. On a negative front shim, make sure that what you see, the -3 is what's going to be flush against the mast. So the smooth side where it has #3, the flat side is the one that's going to be flush against the mast, and you just have to screw the wing on the top of it, and that's it. Set. I don't know if you can see or not, but you can see how high the back wing now is from the fuselage. So the wing's about, I don't know, -3, -3, of course, upside down. And I'm curious to see how this is going to be. And the tail, you see, is shorter, and I'm stoked to find out how this is going to feel. Now, one thing I'm curious about, because this is carbon fiber filament, and if you can see, there's a little bit flex to it because it's not solid as aluminum. So I'm sure that this is gonna be flexing. I just wonder how it's gonna feel when this tail is flexing a little bit like that. I think it's gonna probably gonna give me a very smooth. I don't know. I don't expect. So I'm very curious to see how this is gonna come out. As you can see, there's a little flex over there. But as I said, they can also make this piece out of aluminum as well if you want to. But I'm curious. Let's put this in the water and find out how it feels. I'm curious, man. So, bad news. You know that soft stabilizer? Guess what?
Let me do a quick voice over here because I start having problems with the microphone. Basically, what I'm saying over here, what happened is that I broke the fuselage. The short fuselage was not strong enough to get my weight on the board, which caused me to lose my rear wing and damage my propeller. Therefore, that's why from this point on, I decided to do the review only on the front and the rear shim. However, stick until the end because I'm gonna give more details to what happened to the stabilizer.
Going downwind now so you can see a little bit. Sorry about the noise. But as you can see, I'm probably like half a foot back. So I'm gonna put right now at 10, 9, 10, and there we go. I have more control on the beach too, so it does feel better. All right, guys, sorry for making such a long video, but please tune to the end because I'm gonna give you a whole in-depth what happened to the board and everything else. With that said, please consider subscribing. I got a few more videos coming up pretty soon, and by all means, leave a feedback and also give me ideas to new videos that you want to see. If you want me to try something else or whatever, please stay in contact and give me the feedback. So, with that said, Fliteboard does a great deal. Fliteboard makes great boards, great equipment. But I wish they also got into this to make more adjustable things for the board to customize your ride. Now, the good thing is that companies like that, like Efoil Solutions, came out with this. I made my first shim, DIY shim, 3 years ago, and I'm gonna leave a link below so you can see this video. Gonna explain better what the shim does to you, negative shim does to you. But I only made the back shim, and Efoil Solution made also front shim, and that's what I was curious about. So there are good news and bad news. I'm gonna start with the good news first because this thing was a big no-no. I'm trying to be transparent with you guys as much as I can and be honest with you guys as much as I can. So there are good news and bad news. Let's start with the good news first. So the good news is, let's start with this. This is a very cheap and easy solution for you to avoid damaging the seal or the gasket around your battery. 2 screws you put in, it doesn't work what it's supposed to do, and it's definitely worth to get. So let's talk about now the shims, okay? I start riding first. Right away, I want to go for the -3 shim. The -3 shim did what it's supposed to do, brought my weight back and brought the wing down very fast. So the good thing about, and I noticed difference between having the front shim, the front wing shim, it makes the board pretty loose. I loved it because the board was a little bit looser and very pitch sensitive, meaning going up and down very fast. But then, of course, that's a matter of you getting used to the board, the riding. But it definitely made the board a little bit looser because remember, the front wing now is bringing the board down, and the back wing's a little bit looser on the zero shim. So the board felt a little bit looser, and it did what it was supposed to do. It brought my foot back on the mast and make me have more control. Now, then I put aside, and I'm gonna try the negative shim again. And I put the -3 shim. Only hit reading before -1, and -3 was completely different. It also brought the board the exact same way. Brought my foot back to the mast. However, for the fact that it's dragging on the back, it made the board a little more stable. So it made the ride a little more stable. Still did the same thing. So it creates an imbalance because now you have this dragging on the back, but still bringing the board down, and brought the board down, making my center of gravity towards the back, and made the board a little more firm, which is great. And the front shim does the opposite. It brings the board down and makes the back loose, which creates a instability on the board. So I was like, you know what? Let me try something. So I decided to put the -2 on the front, and I worked my way up to this configuration. My -2 on the front and -3 on the back. Big changer. So the board now was behaving just like I had on zero shim. However, I was stepping on the back, so it felt more comfortable for me. Basically, what it did, it brought the board rather than doing this or doing this fast to bring it cohesively down and balanced. And that was a great ride. It took me a while. It took me 45 minutes, a whole battery, to 50 minutes to get this configuration down. And that's the beauty of having the both setups. You can set this and fine tune your board any way you want. And I think that's a freaking great ideas. So a great idea to have. You definitely should get both so you can configure any way you want. And it's going to take a little while. Now let's get to the bad news. And here's the bad news. I have to be transparent with you guys, and I'm also not trying to. I'm just trying to be honest. I'm trying to be transparent and honest with you guys. Don't get this because the carbon fiber filament is not good enough. It's not strong enough to take your weight, and all the torque is going to happen. So I called Jeff, and thank God Jeff gave me good news. So I'm the second person who actually broke a stab like this. Therefore, he's not making this anymore in carbon fiber filament. However, he's still making these on aluminum billet. So, and he's gonna send me 2 of them to test, the long one and small one. So when I was riding for just 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I think 7 minutes, I was riding, felt very loose because it was flexing. But once I got stable, I was carving much faster. So the concept of having a smaller fuselage back, shorter fuselage back, it does make you turn faster, which is great. Now I didn't use the big one because I didn't want to break it. So, and the concept of having a longer one is going to make you glide more. So I'm waiting for him to send me this in aluminum billet, made out of aluminum, so I can test it for you guys. And when I spoke to him, he also have good news. He already is making adapters so he can put the axis wings, front wings on Fliteboard. That way, it's going to give you more diversity for every different style of ride that you want to have. If you want to glide for hours on end, you're going to have this freaking 1 meter wing by axis. And then hopefully Fliteboard will be doing that soon. But until then, it does make that. Now, the cool thing that I like that is because he's going to be he's making right now, actually, a toroidal propeller. If you don't know toroidal propeller, I don't know how to spell it. I'm going to type it right there. Toroidal propeller, it's been around for about almost 8 years now for powerboats. And it's basically a propeller that makes the board, the vessel, more efficient, faster, and economic. And he's working on that already. He already made a prototype for Fliteboard, but it didn't work as much as he wanted, as he's expected. So he's going through the second prototype right now, and hopefully, if that gets done, he's gonna send one to me so I can try it out and show it to you guys. And that's it, guys. That's all I have for today. I hope this was helpful. I'm gonna leave the link below if you wanna get in touch and get this stuff. And I'll be making more videos in the future. And once again, please try subscribing. And thank you for staying till the end. And I'll see you next time. Have a good day and be good to each other. See you guys in the water.